Sir Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Collins, do workers in the United States have a right to be in unions? Secretary Collins? Do workers in the United States have a right to be members of unions?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know it was a question.
Okay. President Trump issued an executive order banning collective bargaining in the VA, eliminating union rights to 79% of workers there because of security reasons. Do you think that workers in the VA are a threat to national security if they're a member of a union?
I don't think that was the purpose of the EO, Senator.
That's exactly what he said. Then why did you eliminate collective bargaining rights at the VA?
I think the interesting issue here is that's not what the EO is about. The EO is our national security interest of our fourth mission. And if you look at the entire EO, is about making sure that the fourth mission is not.
Is a nurse at the VA a national security threat by being a member of a union?
Okay, sir, I can't answer the question. We're on different pages. It's not the fact that the VA is a national security threat. It's a national security threat that if we can't perform our fourth mission,
that's
which is looking at.
Well,
I mean,
that's what the bottom line is. Unions, 79% of workers at the VA are union members. They no longer are able to engage in collective bargaining. To me, that is an outrage. I think the courts will overturn that. Next question.
Well, at this point, that's not true. At this point, that's not true.
All right. Let me ask you this. Do you believe that every veteran in this country, as I believe, and I think many members of this committee believe, are entitled to VA health care?
As a veteran, yes.
Yeah, okay. What are we doing right now? What are you doing to improve outreach to bring more veterans into VA?
Well, I think that's, let's go back to a question you just said. Does everybody have a right to be in a union? The answer is yes. Does everybody have a right to, on the benefit that they've earned to come to the VA? But I can't force them in.
No, of course you can't. But of course you can't.
I'm missing maybe the point there. I apologize.
The point is there are a lot of veterans out there. I know this. I used to be chair of this committee who do not know what their benefits are. And it's our obligation to say to veterans all over this country, you put your life on the line to defend America. Congress has passed A, B, and C. We welcome you into the VA if you choose to come in.
Yeah, Senator, I think this is a great place for us to have an honest, a conversation because I'm concerned about this as well. And part of this goes back to how we're actually transitioning out of DOD into VA.
That's one of the factors.
And I think that's one of the big things. And there's an honest conversation here. Is it properly placed right now?
Good.
Transition. So I'm wanting to do that.
Good.
And we're doing outreach all the time with our vet centers and everybody else to let people know.
Okay. I think we could do a better job.
I agree.
Think we have to
I agree completely.
Okay. Question. We talk about VA healthcare, which is what we're here to talk about, but we don't put it into a context. We are living in a nation which has a broken, dysfunctional, wildly expensive healthcare system. In your judgment, just out of curiosity, how does VA healthcare compare to healthcare out in the regular world for civilians?
I think in certain areas, just like we're out in the regular world, you have some hospitals that are performing exceptionally and you have some that are not. I think that's the problem that we have in our healthcare systems in general. I think this is something I said earlier. We can't separate out VA from the healthcare system in a whole.
That's true. All right.
But sometimes we do that.
All right. Let me ask you this. My understanding is that we have, roughly speaking, a shortage of 2,500 doctors, 6,600 nurses. All right? What are you guys doing to bring in more doctors, nurses, social workers into VA where they're desperately needed?
Well, one, I want to move doctors that are not working with patients and move them into patient care. That would be a good start. Nurses as well. Also, I'd like to have help from the Congress as well. We need to actually look at our pay structures and our caps on our doctors and what we can pay them. It's very difficult to compete when you're offering at some points hundreds of thousands of dollars less for someone to come work at the VA.
All right. Do you acknowledge, I agree with you, do you acknowledge, though, that right now there is a shortage of doctors, nurses, social workers in the VA?
I acknowledge there's a shortage for everybody in the healthcare industry on those same issues.
But in the VA? I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying.
I mean, we're the same as everybody else. That's why I said we are the same as every other healthcare system. We're struggling to recruit doctors, nurses, and others just as anybody else. And that's something that we're constantly in outreach about. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes not.
The Department of Defense has a medical school. You're aware of that? Uniformed Services Medical School, which does a very good job. Do you think that one of the problems we have overall is that we're not graduating enough doctors and nurses in America?
Yes.
All right. Do you think we can be expanding schools like the Uniformed Services Medical School to bring more people into DOD and VA healthcare?
It's an interesting concept. I think we got to go back to a deeper issue: is why are more of our young people not going to school to go to be a doctor, a nurse, or other things? I think that's a bigger issue.
Fair enough, but that has to do with that. I'm a working class kid. I'm going to graduate medical school $500,000 in debt. Correct? Is the idea of entertaining programs saying you want to go to medical school, we're going to pay for your entire tuition, et cetera, to encourage you to get the medical school grant?
I think anything that we can look at to encourage that is possible. You already have that when you can go into the medical and they'll pay for in DOD, they'll pay for your medical school.
But it sounds like we may want to expand that.
It's something that we can, I think it's something as an overall healthcare system, Senator, you and I probably agree on this, probably more than anyone else, that we've got to make sure that our pool of workers is adequate for all of our systems, not just the VA. And the healthcare system in our country is an issue that we have right now. And I think it's a bigger discussion. I appreciate you bringing it up, and it's something we look at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.